Hello, this is Sharon Otness, and I'm the founder of Design Your Beautiful Life, where we help you design a life that you don't want to escape from. And welcome to Wellness Chats. I started these chats really because after 10 years in the health field, I just know there's so many incredible people out there that that have so much knowledge to share, and there's such a broad expanse of wellness, right? It's not just about what's on the end of a fork. It's a whole circle of life and many facets to wellness. And today we're going to be talking about something that's more physical wellness for you, which is helping to manage your type 2 diabetes if you have it, or hopefully prevent it, okay? So today we're going to be talking to Melesha Bailey, and let's see if we can get Melesha up here. So hopefully that worked. So Melesha Bailey is somebody that I actually met just, within the last year and a half, perhaps two at most. Somehow we didn't cross paths until then, even though we attended the same school. She works with women in particular struggling to control type 2 diabetes, manage weight, and decrease chronic pain. Oh, so important. And she's a nutritional, holistic health coach, like I am. She's successfully helped women and young girls lower their A1C quickly and easily. So we're going to get some great tips here. And she is the owner of Love for Life Wellness, offering virtual and local coaching from Armenia to California. Melesha writes a monthly wellness column for a local newspaper in Springfield, Missouri. She's the host of the Sister to Sister Saturday show on YouTube and her social media platforms. So let's see, are we getting her, Melesha? She's around. I'm trying to just get her on camera here. There we go, connecting. There we go. Sometimes this seems to be a little magic mixed in with technology, I swear. And I think Facebook likes to change it every week on me. Anyway, Melesha, welcome. So good to have you here. And I don't know if you know this, but you actually really helped propel me to do this series, because you invited me on your show. It was a blast. We got to know each other better, which is always fun. Got to know that you have family in my area, so one day we'll meet in person. But you really did help propel this, because I realized that this is so needed. You know, the more that we share, not just about what our knowledge is, but the broader knowledge, the better it is for everyone, right?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So I have a question first and foremost. You know, we as holistic health coaches, there's such a broad variety, as I've already mentioned, of ways that we can help people, and it's hard to help everyone with everything. So we kind of tend to, get into a more specialized niche, so to speak. What propelled you to kind of specialize in helping women and young girls with diabetes?
Well, thank you for having me, Sharon. I'm so glad to be a guest on your show. I have called it several times. You do a great job, and I just appreciate health coaches and wellness practitioners, wanting to help people and go out in the world and be bright and beautiful and do what we are called to do. So I was called into helping young people or women with diabetes from my own struggle. About 7 years ago, I was diagnosed as pre-diabetic, and I did not want to go out like that. And I'm so thankful that I had a doctor who did not try to put me on medication, but she knew that I was working at that time to get healthy. And so I was able to turn things around. And so from my own struggle with diabetes, and I know that there's millions of women out there that are struggling, and it's hard. And that is why I really wanted to help other people and women and young girls with diabetes, because I know it from my own struggle.
Yeah, and isn't that often the case? Something that has been our pain or our struggle or, what we've had to overcome, perhaps, tends to be where we realize that we can help the most, or certainly, a great starting point, right? Because things evolve, and I know that you have some other things in the work, but let's talk about this today because I think it's so important. So first and foremost, can you clarify, because somebody hears the word diabetes, and there's two different types, and it gets a little muddled, I think, sometimes. So can you clarify what is type 2 diabetes?
Well, type 2 diabetes occurs when your body has becomes insulin resistant to sugar, and sugar builds up in your blood. And insulin is a hormone made in the pancreas, and it's a gland located behind your stomach. And insulin allows your body to use glucose as energy, and we get glucose from carbohydrates or sugar and things like that. And so when your body isn't able to store and get rid of the insulin, it stores in your pancreas, and because it doesn't release, you become insulin resistant, and that's how you become the sugar in your blood stays there, and it's not able to get out of your body. And so that's how you get type 2 diabetes. And it can happen from genetics, lack of exercise, and a lot of times it's because of our diet. And so the body isn't able to process the sugar correctly. That's it. That's an easy way to say it in a nutshell.
Okay, that sounds great. Yeah, appreciate that always when we can kind of like get a nice, good, broad understanding. And sugar, sugar, sugar. Oh my goodness. You know, I always say that sugar was my first addiction. And I have to say, I am noticing in the last year and a half that, you know, I- I'm going to it more than I would like, for sure. So this is a great topic. So how is this diagnosed?
Well, it's diagnosed. They take a blood sugar. You go to the doctor, and they will take a blood test. And normally, a range of anything below a 5.9 is considered low. And so it's done by A1C test, and it reflects the average blood sugar levels in your blood from anywhere from the past 2 to 3 months. And it measures what percentage of the protein, the hemoglobin protein in your blood, that is coated with sugar. And so that's how it is taken from an A1C test. You have to have an A1C, a blood test, to see where your sugar levels are. And so if your A1C is higher than, like I said, a 5.9, then you are considered a pre-diabetic. Like mine was 6.3. Wasn't full type diabetic, but it was right on that edge. And so, and anytime you start getting above a 6.3, you really have to make a concerted effort to change your lifestyle so that it doesn't become diabetic. And one thing I do know, if you change your lifestyle, you can decrease your numbers, and you don't have to be a full diabetic taking medication and things like that. It can be controlled.
Yeah, and that's always our goal, right? Yeah, so the A1C, I think that term gets, bantered around a lot. So that truly is that blood test that is, what diagnosis
And
basically.
it's important to get those diagnoses, to go to your doctor, and to make sure that you know what your blood sugar is. And so,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think that's one of those good points to make, is that that's where a doctor comes, like we talk a lot about, doing things naturally or as natural as possible, etc. But it's also that working with your doctor, getting tests done that we can't necessarily do ourselves, to really find out, okay, what are my baselines, what's really happening in there that I don't see, right? And having some tests run by a professional, and then enter you, or somebody like you to help us make those changes, right?
Absolutely. I also run a test. It's called the hair tissue mineral analysis. And so
Oh,
we're able to take your hair and we send it to a laboratory and it will tell us specifically, it doesn't say diabetes, but if it's within a certain range or certain imbalances, if certain minerals are out of balance, it will tell me if you are susceptible to having some blood sugar issues. And that is a key as well too. But you need to go to your doctor, but also a hair test can also help make that
okay.
not diagnosis, but show you some results that could be leading to some blood sugar issues. I will say it like that.
Right. Could be a warning sign,
Yes.
right? Yeah. Yes. Okay. So that's interesting with the hair analysis. I know that, they're using hair analysis for many different things, but you do that as
Oh
well.
yes, yes.
Wonderful.
It's a part of what I do, and what I like about it is when I get the analysis, it will definitely give us your foods and diets that you should or should not eat, and so then we're able to really help you make those lifestyle modifications, and you can do it on your own, but I like having it in black and white. So when you go to the
Right.
doctor, you get your A1C and oh my God, my A1C is at 8.3. I better do something, you know. But then when you
Right.
get the hair analysis, it gives you a roadmap of actually what to do other than medication, if possible.
Okay. Well, that's really interesting. I love that. So, okay, before we get into tips, let's go down into the nitty gritty. What are some complications if we're type 2 diabetic or venturing towards that way? What's going on for us?
Well, a lot of times if it goes unchecked and you don't do anything about it, well, first of all, let me tell you what are some of the symptoms you may notice. You may notice
Yeah.
that you are going to the bathroom a lot. You may lose actual weight. You're getting really it's like your body is eaten away. That's what happened to my husband. He was really sick. He got really
Mm,
weak. He was going to the bathroom. He lost a lot of weight and may have some nausea. You just don't feel right. You kind of feel like, oh my God, something is wrong. And so if
yeah.
you are having those feelings, go get it checked out because it's a sign, it's a warning sign that something is wrong. And so what happens is, Sharon, a lot of people, they get the diagnosis and they put their head in the sand and then the complications start happening. So you can have some eye problem, some retinal issues, some numbness in your extremities, your fingers, your toes, and things like that. You could have heart issues. Your blood pressure, you could have skin issues, conditions, nerve damage or neuropathy, kidney damage, and it could lead to some type of amputations and things like that. And so you don't want that to happen because you can control it with food. So and the thing is, if you don't look after your diabetes, it's not going to get worse. It will get worse. It's not going to get better. It will get worse. So but a lot of times you start losing your eyesight, or this, what a lot of people tell me is that numbness in their fingers and toes. That's a telltale sign that you are having some complications from your diabetic symptoms.
Yeah. And if it's not that, maybe there's something else going on. But yeah, things like that are like not normal, right? Just yeah, something out of the ordinary is happening. Okay, let's get to the positive side. What can people do or start doing to make this better?
Well, the thing that you can do is it's a mindset thing. You cannot put your head in the sand and think it's all going to go away. You really have to do something. And unfortunately, a lot of times people won't do anything until it gets really worse. And so the thing you can do is really to change your diet and to exercise. Movement is key. Diet is key. And I'm not saying you have to give up everything that you love, but eating, foods that are low in carbohydrates, simple carbohydrates, foods that are low in sugar, even some artificial sugars can also make your symptoms exasperated as well too. Diet and exercise are the biggest tools that I can tell people. And if that's it basically in a nutshell. And it's hard, especially when you're used to a certain diet, the standard American diet of a lot of potatoes and a lot of sugar and a lot of cookies and cakes and a lot of meat, things like that. It's hard making that switch. And I'm on a lot of diabetic Facebook groups, and I because I'm a health coach, I don't want to get in there and tell people what to do because they'll kick me out. But I'm watching people, what they're eating and saying how bad they're struggling, and most of it is food, and they're not working. They won't get any type of movement. So that's number one where I start with my clients.
Yeah. And it's so interesting because I've been reading a lot about brain health lately, especially with what's happening with my mom and Alzheimer's, um, and it's so interesting that none of this is true rocket science stuff. There's brain health too, on the end of your fork, getting proper sleep, getting exercise. It's just the same things that we really need to be doing to have overall good health anyway. But for some reason, as human beings, we can be very stubbornly resistant against the very things that we should naturally be doing, right?
Yeah, and I can attest. I was resistant, but unfortunately, a lot of times we don't do anything till it gets to the crisis point. So, as health professionals, as you are and I am, we want to help people to not get to that crisis point. We want for people to get on it right away. And so the greatest thing that can happen to me is when somebody comes to me and they're pre-diabetic, they go back and get their A1C and they're great, and the doctor says you're doing good. And so, but one of the things I've learned is inflammation, and I'm sure you've known that even with Alzheimer's, our brain issues, is that inflammation is a big cause of it as well. And inflammation is a direct result of what we eat and what we put in our body. So, and if you can get rid of the inflammation, you can possibly get rid of your diabetic symptoms and hopefully slow down the progression of some of the mind altering diseases that happen in our lives.
Yes, inflammation is not our friend. I mean, other than, when we have a quick injury and, the body's protecting itself. Other than that, it's not our friend for sure.
No.
Different things that are happening out there. What else would you like to tell us about, I don't know, prevention or being proactive?
The proactive, the thing is, one of the things I have learned, my husband, and I'm just going to be transparent. My husband's had diabetes for probably about 10 years or so, maybe not quite that long. And he has never really followed what I show him to do. So this last time he did go, and his A1C was pretty high. And so he realized he needed to do something. And so we started, we took, and it wasn't that he was eating sugar. That wasn't the problem, because he wasn't eating sugar, but he had too much meat in his diet, too many carbohydrates in his diet, too many diet sodas in his diet. And also what happened is he got a blood glucose monitor, and that really helped, because now he could see what was going on in his body at a moment's time. So we knew that we found out that oatmeal was not his friend. Now, oatmeal may be somebody else's friend, but it wasn't his friend. So I do like to use the blood glucose monitor. And if I have clients, I either have them to prick their finger or use the monitor, because you can't conquer what you don't know or what you can't see.
That's right.
And so if you know your numbers and you know where you are, then you can make informed decisions on what to do, what type of diet, if you need more water in your diet, so that's what I wanted to make, informed decisions about your health and what you're going to do going forward. You can't put your head in the sand. So, getting in a support group, following blogs, getting information, getting a health coach, somebody that can help guide you to health, better health, so that you don't lose limbs or lose your eyesight or have to get anything cut off.
Yes, all of those things, right? Yes, so important. And I think you've mentioned it several times. It's like we need to get our head out of the sand to really take a good, strong look. It may be uncomfortable for sure. But, sometimes it also can be reassuring that, hey, I guess I'm doing okay. But, if you've got some signs of things like you said, numbing or whatever, then get it checked out. Find out where it might be coming from. It could be something simple. It could be something more complex, but you're not going to know until you do. So, all very good suggestions. Very good.
Yeah, so that's basically it. And it's the thing is it's not really that rocket science, and it really isn't. And I know for sure that if people make changes, you can really change things in as little as 3 weeks. I've watched few of my clients change their A1C, lower their daily blood sugar readings in as low as 3 weeks, just by following a more cleaner diet with organic fruits and vegetables, drinking lots of water, getting movement, really watching what you put in your body. And that's just, and everybody wants to eat what they want, and I do too. We all do. But the thing is, I guess for me, what clicked in my mind is, why am I going to let myself die or get sick from something I put in my mouth? I can control what I put
Yeah.
in my mouth. I have all control over that. And so
Yeah.
that's what you have to realize. You can control what you put in your mouth. Take control,
Right.
take back your power, and do what you need to do so that you can get healthy. You don't want to get sick and have somebody have to roll you around in a wheelchair because you have lost your limbs, or you can't drive because your eyesight is gone. That's not the life that we want. And we're living longer than ever these days. And so the thing is, why would we want to live longer in bad health?
Well, exactly. We're living longer sick, because medicine can keep us there. And, that all these weighing out things, but that's, I don't think, where you want to be. We want to, live a robust, healthy life. As long as we've got that, longevity, why not use it to our best advantage? And you're right. I mean, we do have control over what we put in our mouth. And I know that that's also sometimes a little scary to know that, you mean it's on me? Like, where's that magic pill that we'd all love to have, right? So anyway,
And that's the thing.
yeah.
People want those quick fixes, those gimmicks, things that are easy. And it's easy, but it's not easy. And there's no magic pill. And yes, you can take metformin, you can take insulin, but those, as we know, lead to other things, and it makes it harder for your body to still process the insulin and the sugar and things like that. So if you can not have to go that route, if possible, you don't. But if you do have to take medicine, take it, but still work to not have to, at least decrease the medications that you have to take, at least.
Right. Yeah. You can do both until maybe you don't have to do both. Right.
Absolutely.
So yeah, and I think that you were so right on with it's not a quick fix, and yet you've said that you have many people that within a few weeks, say a month, 2 months, that's not that long to start correcting your health in a very major way. You know, that's in the scheme of life, that's a very short time.
It really is.
You just,
I would say, even for me, when I was pre-diabetic, when I went back to the doctor, my blood sugar was fine. I think it was 6 months for me, but some people go about every 3 months to get their blood sugar tested. It depends on how high it is. And so that gives you a goal to set for yourself. I think setting goals, next time I go to the doctor, my blood sugar is going to be at this level, next time I go to the doctor, I'm going to say, my blood sugar is this level. I don't want to be on this type of medication. Can we decrease my medication? And eventually hopefully be off of it, because our bodies weren't designed to put all that stuff in our bodies, if we all the time. So
Right. I mean, as much as we can help it, right? And I think that's where, again, working with a medical professional, working with a coach as well, so that we have those clear goals. Everybody knows what our goals are. And then, working towards them can be very powerful.
I even have now I'm using a nurse to help me with my business, because a nurse, because they know what medications you're taking. And when we're trying to make a holistic approach to making you well, I think having a nurse on staff, reading those test analysis, reading your blood analysis from your doctor, reading the hair analysis, can give you a better picture, both holistically and medically, of how to get better. So that's something I've added to my business, and I love
Oh,
being able to do that as well.
that's great. That's great. I love that. Yeah. Well, Melesha, thank you for being here with us. Any parting words you want to say?
Well, thank you so much, Sharon. I hope I was clear and concise with my answers, and I just want to thank you. I'm glad to see you on Facebook. I see when your face pops up, and it makes me happy. And I'm just loving
Oh,
the work that you're doing, and I appreciate you asking me to be on today. And I just want people to live. My motto is live the rest of your life as the best of your life. And I believe we can do that holistically, mindfully, prayerfully, in bodies that are designed to glorify God in good health. So I'm excited to be here, and thank you for allowing me to talk to your audience. I appreciate it.
oh, you are so welcome, and thank you for all of what you do. You are such a shining light, and thank you for really clearing up, I think, what a lot of people have questions on. So we all know that we can, connect with Melesha if anything else comes up that you need to know more about. Make sure that we have some contact information for her. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're
Mwah.
welcome. You're welcome. If anybody, I have some free information. If anybody wants some information on, I've got some handouts that I can email you, or you can subscribe to my email list if you like to have some information. That's all. I'm all about diabetes and getting well. So thank you. Thank you so much, Sharon. Have a wonderful
Thank.
day.
Bye. Take
Take
care.
care. Bye-bye.